And the more and more we drag this out, the more and more it's going to cause mental wear and tear.
Hello, one and all, and welcome to a special episode of A Maven's Tale. I am your host, Kaya, and A Maven's Tale is a platform where we get together and we tell our story. And what better way to tell a story than to tell it with my very best friend in the whole wide world, Elle. Everybody, welcome Elle to the stage.
Hi, everyone.
She is my best friend of over 20 years, and I thought that we could get together and speak about our mental health and our mental state during this pandemic. COVID has done a number on us, girl. And because of the fact that we're so close, and we both kind of, we lean on each other for just our mental wealth and health and well-being and for everything else. So I wanted her to come on and just talk about what she's going through, what we're going through as a country, and I'm sure what a lot of you are experiencing at home during this pandemic that we thought was going to be better by now.
Right.
But we're having a surge in parts of the country because people don't want to listen.
Absolutely. I think that during this pandemic, I believe it's been hard on so many of us, as far as the mental aspect of just trying to cope on a daily basis to try to make some sense and to have some normalcy at the same time. And when this all started in March, we didn't know exactly what was going to take place. From the moment they shut down, it was very scary time, and it still is. Like, I've never thought a day in my life that I would see New York City shut down. Like, it was ghost town. I still had to go out to work. I still go out to work. I didn't have the luxury of staying home.
As an essential worker.
Yeah. But it's been hard to try to work through this and to still try to, stay safe. And when it first happened, I was just like, wow, like, I just couldn't believe it. Like, it was like something out of the movies. I don't know if you guys ever seen The Walking Dead, but I thought that that's exactly where we was headed when everything shut down. And I was just like, wow, like, how much tissue do I need? Like, I'm like, it's the supplies was running out. You couldn't even find certain things like sanitizer and all this type of stuff. I mean, I washed my hands until my skin was raw. Like, it was really, and now that as time went on, you had, when you're so used to going, and then have to be still, I think was hard because, I don't know, NYC, we stay moving. Snow, sleet, hail, hurricanes, we keep moving. And it was very hard to stand still. And through the past couple of months, if you don't have, people that are with you, or, those that are alone or single, I would think that it would be a lot harder for them as well. And then the children not being able to be sociable, that takes a mental toll. And I also seen how hard it is, like, to even confront people, with the usual hug and kiss. It's almost like a mental disconnection now because, you're afraid to even be up on people or just any of that. So as I began to get through the months, I started realizing that as I slowed down, even though I was still going to work, I connected with people that I haven't spoken to in years, or I became closer to those that I would barely see because I'm always at work. And so it had like that scary, but that stillness put me in a place where I had to reach out more, because now you need that community to be able to survive this. Because loneliness causes depression and all kinds of issues, anxiety. I know my anxiety was up through the roof because of actually to have to bear this and to have to go through this, and we're still going through it. It has gotten better because of the support that I had to pull from here and there to make sure that I stay mentally sane. Because when you're by yourself, and especially if you're working during this pandemic, you don't want to be around family and friends and potentially cause harm to those that you love. So I pretty much stayed away from everyone for about, I'm gonna say at least
I still haven't seen her. I still haven't seen her.
I am not playing. I am not playing because I don't want to risk my family's life, knowing that I'm outside daily. And it kills me when people don't put a mask on, because I'm in my mask for at least 8 to 12 hours a day, and then still have to wear it, on the weekend. Like I rarely get a break from wearing that mask, because I'm trying to make sure I'm safe and those that I love are safe, and those that I don't even know, I want to keep them safe as well. And it's almost a slap in the face when you call people essential and doctors and nurses, and you can't take the necessary precautions to make sure that you're doing your part. It's a slap in the face. So, but as far as the mental aspect, I'm thanking God, because there's nobody but Him, and the grace that is getting me through this. Because you have stress at work, you're stressing during the pandemic, you're stressing about finances, and you have all these different things that you're worrying about. And, am I going to have a job? Am I going to get furloughed? So all these things that are into play, and all you could do is trust God at this point. What I have to do to spiritually stay grounded is to trust God, and it's not easy, because your mind and your daily routines and things like that, it's really hard to consistently without becoming weary. And you don't want to become weary, but it's warranted. You're human. Family, trusting God, staying connected. I thank God for that we're able to reach out through Zoom. And could you imagine in the 90s, like we was gonna be beating people? We can't have a rotary phone right now. A lot of people, we wouldn't have made it, because you still have some sense of normalcy to be able to speak to and visually see your loved ones. But it definitely has changed me for the better, as far as being more connected with my loved ones. I still have.
Now, when you talk about connecting with your loved ones, you unfortunately had the experience of going to a funeral during the pandemic. How was that like?
I have been to literally 3 funerals of my friends and family. It's hard because you're used to when there's a funeral, you're able to go and pay your respects to your loved ones and to be able to see them. The amount of time right now that it takes to even get a slot just to have the funeral is a lot. You have no more than 10 people at the funeral. And as I said before, like, it's great that now you can, see it at home. However, not feeling like you're properly saying goodbye because of what you were used to. I have been able to, I had to watch funerals while I was at work because, during my lunch break, I had to, sit there and try to be supportive to those that I love. so that I can't go. Taking off of work is hard considering my job, and it's very hard. It's rough. It really is, because you can't send them off how you would normally do during the time that someone leaves us. So yeah,
I know that you, during this time, sometimes you kind of disconnect from the news and stuff, but there has been surges in certain states, and there are also a lot of people, even in our state, in New York, and New Jersey, where there are some people who literally protest wearing masks in public, and they accost the essential employees and wherever they go. Or I saw on the news in one state, I don't even remember where it is, they had a mask burning party. Like, this was something that people were doing. And I'm just like, the rally that Trump had, and Herman Cain was there with his colleagues, family, I don't know who they were. And he ended up contracting COVID shortly thereafter and passed away. And another member of Congress recently contracted COVID, and he blamed the mask. So this is the type of mental blockage that's going on in the world, in the country, I should say. And because of the fact that we don't make it a national law that you must, a lot of times when you see situations where there's police brutality and there is a life that's taken, most of the times it's always the others that say you need to comply. You're not complying. So now there's a somewhat of a mandate that you need to wear your mask.
Correct.
And there are people that are not complying because they feel like their rights are being taken.
Yeah, it's annoying, and it's disgusting, honestly, because in my opinion, whether you feel that it's a hoax, you don't feel you should have to wear one, your duty and responsibility is not just to you. If you feel that I'm going to do what I want, and that's just pretty much it, you're being rebellious. So I'm confused when you don't want to wear a mask, but when you get sick, you want to go to the hospital. And you have people throwing COVID parties. And I can't understand it, except for I'm going to do what I want to do. Nobody's going to tell me what I should and should not do. But if there was a poisonous gas in the air and they told you that you would die within 24 seconds of it, you would put the mask on. Just because you can't see something, it's better to be safe than sorry. And it doesn't make any sense that we're having surgeries that we all didn't lock down at the same time. Like I said, it's a slap in the face to our healthcare workers, our doctors, our nurses. It's a slap in the face, and it's disgusting. Like, I don't understand. I'm going to probably wear my mask. I'm going to wear my mask to 2022 if I have to, because I don't want the flu either. So there's certain things, like, I think it's very useful at some point that we probably should have been wearing masks in certain locations anyway, especially the food industry. They should have been wearing masks all this time. Certain things, certain places, I feel like when you go and get your head, if you're breathing on top of someone, this is the case. Now, we can't even send the kids back to school and without worrying about your children getting it, because they will. Because how are you going to social distance children? Children do all kinds of things, and we're in a place now, we can't even send them back. We are struggling to get to some normalcy. You know what I mean? And that just brings us back to, why not wear the damn mask? Like, you know, it's not, you know what I mean? Like it what do you feel like you're exempt, even if your body has a
strong immune system?
Yes, have the immune system, you have the antibodies, whatever. Protect yourself. That's it. I really don't get it. And to all the essential workers out there, I appreciate every last one of you. I'm thankful and I'm grateful. Like, you know, I don't understand these people going into stores and being disruptive. You can't wear your mask in a store for 45 minutes or a half an hour. You going in there raising hell and putting other people's lives at risk. The essential workers that had to continue working while they make sure that their grocery stores stay open so that you can feed your family. The selfishness is, I can't even.
It's not even, it's selfish, but it's also evil.
Yeah.
There is a level of evil that has been released even more during this pandemic, during, right, you know, because of the fact that you have people that just feel like entitled. They are privileged and entitled, and they don't have to abide by whatever law, even if it's the store's law or the store's, their rules and guidelines. Stores have the ability to refuse service if you don't have on a shirt, or if you don't have on shoes, or maybe if you have a pet that's not a service pet. So stores have been having this type of, you know, law and guidelines for a long time. But now that most of the big chain stores are now enforcing, which I don't understand why they weren't enforcing it nationwide before, but now they have a nationwide ban on coming into the store without a mask. It's August. You want to still be going through this in December because you don't want to listen?
And the more and more we drag this out, the more and more it's going to cause mental wear and tear, especially during the winter months. Because you're not going to be able to get out like you're doing now in the summer, and you're in the parks and you're at the beach, and, you know, maybe you can take a drive. When winter comes, this is where that
can't have an open.
It's going to be hard. It's going to get harder as it gets colder, as far as your mental status is concerned, because now you're not going to have these options to just go out and sit in the park. It's going to be freezing. Where are you going? Where are you going? So if we don't get a handle on this, a lot of us are not going to be able to survive it, especially during the winter months. And because we're definitely going into this to 2021, because we can't seem to comply to simple instructions. Like, for instance, you realize, you know, you have to quarantine in New York for 14 days if you leave the state. So people are not doing that. Oh, well, we won't fly, we'll drive. So now you're driving from state to state, you're driving, and then you're coming back and you're not quarantining because you're trying to get out of, you understand? So it's like they're trying to put things into place for our safety, but you're going to still find a way to get around it because we got so many get over artists. Mm-hmm. So as long as we have people trying to get over, we're not going to get through this, and it's going to continue. You know, I'm just pray for those who feeling isolated, those who are actually taking the initiative. You know, I thank you, and stay strong, and, you know, find some outlet to connect to. You know, reach out to health organizations, mental health organizations, if you need somebody to talk to. You know, people are home with their children, and they still have to work while they're home, and still work, and then their finances and things like that. It's a lot. It's a lot. And if we don't get it together, I just don't see any normalcy, so to speak, coming, because we can't seem to comply. And I just pray that everyone begin to take this thing seriously, because when we get into these winter months, it's just going to get worse before it gets better. because now we're going to have that flu season on top of COVID-19. And it's sad. It really is. But we have to get it together. We really do. And think about our fellow man, our fellow person, and think about and being compassionate, about what does it takes to survive as a community and as a world. We have to really start looking out for each other, because it will get harder if we don't stop being so nonchalant about how we take care of ourselves. So my prayers are with everyone, and blessings and peace.
Stay tuned for scenes from the next episode of A Maven's Tale, Between Sisters. Exactly.
I'm not taking away from their trauma, but I need this world and this country to understand that our trauma is just as great.
Don't forget to subscribe.